The ancient primordial cave, a symbol reaching back in time as far as the dawn of mankind. In fact, the truth is, we all come from the primordial cave of our mother's womb. The sacred cave of darkness and the unknown, the primordial abyss of creation. To the ancients, the female was considered the goddess of creation. She gave spontaneous birth and created life. Something invisible that came from the sacred cave of the goddess before the understanding of sex and fertility. We humans are also said to have come from ancient cavemen, which of course lived and came from caves. So, the birth of mankind and human civilization began from the sacred cave of the underworld. The sacred hole of the goddess was a magical realm of creation, spontaneous life from the invisible realm of the primordial ether, from the abyss of the bottomless hole. This is why they tell us that the universe was created by a Big Bang, and why the universe or uterus has black holes. The subject of the hole and the sacred cave of creation is why all religions going back thousands of years always have the tale of the great gods and goddesses coming from the sacred dark cave. We look throughout history, through the various religions around the world, and we find the same primordial concepts of the sacred hole or cave. Perhaps now you will start to grasp and understand why religions are said to be holy, as in the sacred Holy Bible, a story of creation. The sacred hole, cave or yoni circle, of the Vesica Pisces. The sacred circle of life, which of course is the very meaning of our word church, by way of the goddess Circe. This is why you will always find the sacred symbol of the goddess, her sacred hole, cave or yoni at the doorways and arches of churches around the world. This is why all of the biblical characters of the Bible all come from the dark abyss, the sacred caves of the Mother Earth goddess. Now, you'll understand why the Hebrew character of Yeshua, or the Greek, Jesus, was born in a cave. I have explained many times before the true meaning of why Jesus was born in a manger, or a stable, because it's an animal house of the zodiac wheel, or circle, the castle, or mansion, of the animal house. Yes, this is why Jesus is surrounded by the 12 animals of the zodiac wheel, especially the house of Taurus, the bull, or cow. Now, you'll know why we have the biblical expression, holy cow. I could go into great detail about the holy cow, or sacred bull gods and goddesses, like the bull god of the Bible, but let's move on. If you do your research, you'll see that the official site of the birth of Jesus is indeed a cave. This is also why Jesus was born of a virgin, the goddess house, or cave, Virgo, of Libra. Now, you'll grasp why Jesus was also buried in none other than a cave. Of course, Jesus was also resurrected or born again from a cave. The sacred cave of the goddess, her yoni, or her symbol, of the Vesica Pisces, the symbol, or the same bull, you'll see, depicted with Jesus, coming out of the sacred cave of the Virgin Goddess. I could go on for days, explaining amazing facts, like the Pisces, or two fish of Jesus, but at least now, you'll understand why the Holy Bible has the story of the great whore of Babylon, the one who rides the beast, coming up from the great depths of the caves of the underworld. The underworld was, and still is, the very concept of where we still place our belief in the idea of hell. Hell, which is Ha-El, or he is El Shad, the devil, versus El Shad, Die, or the Hebrew bull god of the Bible. Hell is an evil place, way down deep in a cave, the depths of the pits of hell, where of course we find an evil devil, or Satan, which of course is always depicted as a horned zodiac animal, the Taurus bull, or the old goat of Capricorn. This is why we have the story of Jesus going down the sacred hole, or cave, traveling to the underworld, known as the harrowing of Jesus. This came from much older, ancient stories of descending down into the sacred cave, or hole, of Mother Earth, deep down into the underworld. This was actually a symbolic reference of nature, or the seasons, changing from winter and summer, or from the death of winter and passing over into the new life of springtime. The ancient green one of resurrection, the fertility of rebirth. The sun, the moon, the Bibles of the Milky Way galaxy. The sacred fertility of the cow and the bull, and the solar calf. The ancient use of the color green, and the worship of the goddess Hole, or Yoni, is seen in Mecca as well as at the Vatican. The Bloody Virgin Mother Mary of March or Mars, the Red Planet, the ancient cave, and the sex magic rituals of old. The symbolism can be seen everywhere around the world, from the United Nations to the Washington Monument, and also in Israel too, we find the sacred cave of the goddess. This is why you will find a huge hole, tunnel or cave at the Vatican crypt. This is why it's known as the Devil's Hole, the same hole or cave found at the United States Capitol. Anyway, this is why the cave of the goddess gives life, or power, when we insert the pole into the cave, or turn it on, the true meaning of our power symbol. Anyway, maybe now you'll understand why all games we play involve the sacred hole of the goddess. The fertility of this ancient sex magic is usually seen in the springtime, which brings us to the real meaning of the rabbit hole. The life cycle of the continuous looping of time, dying and being resurrected again. The rabbit is an anthropomorphic fertility symbol of Mother Nature. This is why we have the symbolism of the rabbit, or the bunny in Easter, with the eggs of fertility. The Playboy bunny, a sexual symbol of the rabbit in springtime. Going down the rabbit hole is a popular theme in Hollywood movies. Now you know why we saw all these great big gaping holes, or caves, in so many movies. Of course you'll now know why we see the rabbit and the hole, or cave, in cartoons as well. Going down the tunnel of love, or should I say, the Hershey Highway. The tunnel of love, going down the sacred hole, an ancient ritual rite of sex. The subject of using holes and caves within movies, especially children-targeted movies, or cartoons, is vast. As you can now see, the concept of the primordial cave, or hole, is an ancient symbol that has been used for thousands of years by the elite, elders, of El. This is why today we often hear of the underground tunnels, or caves, and caverns as seen in secret government underground tunnels. I am sure some of you already know about the mysteries of the Dulce underground base. Interesting to note that tunnels and caves are also related to child sex trafficking. Of course, holes and caves are dangerous, so they are symbolic of death and evil things, scary, unknown places, which is why we see them used in various horror films. In reality, we saw Princess Diana being killed in the tunnel of the underworld at Ponte Alma. Just as the ancient goddess Demeter searched for Persephone in the underworld, where she used the torch to guide her way, the same torch placed upon Princess Diana's sacrifice site, as she now exists in the underworld. The same torch that the Statue of Liberty holds, the god-goddess of the underworld, in New York. Speaking of New York, perhaps now you'll begin to stand under and understand why we had huge gaping holes, or caves, on September the 11th. Many missed this important theme on 9/11, or 7/11, the ancient ritual of the sacred hole, or cave. In case you did not catch on to the symbolism of the cave on 9/11, I'll give you one guess where the enemy of 9/11 was from. You guessed it, none other than a cave. This is why many of our enemies are said to have come from a cave, or hole. Aaron Russo said that Rockefeller told him before 9/11 ever happened, that after the big event, they would be chasing an invisible enemy, invading countries, and that they would have soldiers looking into caves for terrorists, but there is no real enemy.
And sure enough, later 9/11 happened, and I remember he was telling me how how you're gonna see soldiers looking in caves for people in Afghanistan and Pakistan and all these places, and there's gonna be this war on terror, which is no real enemy.
Another example of an invisible enemy from a cave is the man-made story of another invisible character. The one is blamed and used for an excuse by the elite. He does not exist, but they have made you believe he is real. His name is Satan, or the devil. An invisible character deep down from a dark cave or hole, used to control and scare the herd. The evil dark cave, used to hide and conceal evil doings. This is why we have the story of the Pied Piper, the one who leads the mice, or the children to, the cave. We see that the cave, or hole, is used to hide in the darkness, absent from the light, a place of shadows, the shad, the shell, the pit of lies from the invisible devil. The invisible enemy from a cave the same shadows that were used to scare the innocent in the classic allegory of the cave by the philosopher Plato. Deep down in a cave, the slaves believe that the shadows on the wall are real living things, but the truth is, they have created this belief by assuming, not by knowing. One slave escapes and climbs out of the cave and into the bright light of enlightenment. He later returns to save all of his fellow slaves, but they all think he is crazy, and they reject his knowledge and his help. I have done several videos regarding Plato's cave, and if you would like to learn more, watch one of them. Understand this, that which exists in Plato's cave is not real, it's all fake and made up of lies. A shadow is not real, it's actually invisible, only the belief makes it real in one's mind, but not reality. Shadows are used to make fun of the herd, a symbol of the ignorant slaves of Plato's cave who are afraid and believe in invisible things. Today we assemble into a theater and watch the Hollywood movies on the wall, just like Plato's cave. Another invisible character that we try and make our children believe in is Santa Claus, the unreal, invisible man who descends and goes down the sacred hole or cave, the chimney or fireplace.
What is it?
Oh no.
I think it's just a really deep hole that creepy Carl dug up.
Maybe it's a wormhole. A doorway between different universes.
You took the locks off. Your shirt's hooked up. You shouldn't have opened it.
Someone's in the house.
Mom?
As you can clearly see by now, the truth is that the evil shadows within a dark, deep cave are not actually evil or scary, only the ignorant perception of man's fear when no light is present. Everything is still the same with the lights off, but the mind goes into an ancient primordial panic mode when darkness sets in. Notice once again that the female is related to the evil darkness, which we call evening, named after the goddess of Eve. This is where the idea of evil comes from, the eve of El, or the dark night that comes before the light of daytime. This is also where we get our word for belief, or believing, because one must have faith that from the dark night, light will return in the morning. Bel is the son of El, and one must believe that the eve will turn to Bel once again. The Bel life cycle of the sun ray, the tray, turns in the morning. The struggle between the light and the dark is all in the mind, not in reality. This dark ignorance and fear of the black abyss is exactly how the elite elders of El control us all. It's worked for thousands of years, and they continue to use it to this very day. The female is also used as a demon, which is nothing more than just the deity of the moon at night. The very same concept of monsters, which are just moon stars. This is why you have never seen the invisible creatures of demons or monsters, because they only exist in your mind, not reality. This brings us to another invisible enemy that dwells in the deep dark cave of ignorance. The cave is the very place where we find bats, which is why Batman has a bat cave. The cave is the home of the bat, the very creature that is said to have started this pandemic of the coronavirus and COVID-19. Again, we find that our invisible enemy comes from the dark cave. The very same cave that we all now know is symbolic of ignorance, lies and deception. I would now like to read a quote by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. "Strange times are these in which we live, when old and young are taught falsehoods in school. And the person that dares to tell the truth is called at once a lunatic and a fool. Don't get stuck down in Plato's cave. Escape the false lies of the dark shadows and reach to the light of truth. Free yourself from the ball and chains that bind you. Escape the dome of ignorance and you will have freedom." Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and click the bell icon. Peace, love and wisdom. Aloha.